share with you about Rayesa Gheewala's amazing journey in becoming a mentor and coach at Back to the Fitrah Mentoring Academy and what we now call Fitrah-Focused Coaching. And before I introduce Rayesa and what she does, I'd like to just quickly share what we mean by Fitrah-Focused Coaching. It is where we see the well-being in others through having well-being ourselves, so that we can see what is covering their fitrah and help them uncover that so they can come back to their fitrah, so that they can find the answers that lie within their own selves. And it's the most beautiful, amazing process in the world. And in order to share this with others that are really keen to become a coach or are actually already a certified coach but would really love to make it a spiritual Islamic process that they do, I'm writing the book to be released very soon. Hopefully it will pop up on the screen. There we go, called Fitrah-Focused Coaching, the Islamic Blueprint for Transformative Coaching. And I hope that the conversation that we have with Rayesa right now will help you see what that is about and why it will be valuable to jump on and get that book when it's ready. So Jazakallah khair, Rayesa, for spending some of your valuable time here with me. Rayesa is like my very first real client in when I started online. She was part of my very first cohort back in 2014, wasn't it? 9 years ago, and has been with me this whole way. And she was part of the original cohort that did the certification program. She was one of the ones that said, we want to do this too. You need to teach us. And it's because of them that this coaching certification even exists. And she has been an immense support and an amazing coach herself, working with women who feel that divorce is the only way out and helping them see what options there may well be beyond that, inshallah. So Rayesa, so awesome to have you here. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. I'm so excited just listening to everything you shared about Back to the Fitrah Academy and the certification of Fitrah-Focused Coaching. And I can't wait for the book to come out. It's going to be so exciting for people to really get a deep dive and understand in the process and the journey that you take people through during the certification journey.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. It just felt the right time to share this with the world. We're about to enter into our 6th year of this certification. So the first year we started was 2018-19, and then we've done a group every calendar year since then. And Rayesa was in that 2018-19 group with me. So Rayesa, I'd love you to share. We have a concept called listening beyond the words that is very important. It's different and beyond active listening, which is what's often taught in coaching programs. I'm wondering if you could share with people what your experience of and the success you've had with listening beyond the words.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because listening beyond the words is not the same as active listening or deep listening, which we hear a lot of in the industry. Listening beyond the words is, first of all, I would want to say, as the coach and the mentor, you're very centered and you're grounded in the present moment and your own connection with yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because with this understanding and that you teach us in the certification, you know that we're not doing the healing or the guiding or the helping. It's actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is doing the healing and the guiding and the helping, but he's facilitating it through us. So understanding that, I'm not looking to see what I can tell them that they should do or my solution for what I think is their solution for their problem. So that's the first part, is that being very centered and grounded within myself, so I can hear how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is guiding me, first of all, in how I respond to what they're saying. So going back to listening beyond the words, when people are telling you their story or their situation, their circumstance, it's very easy to get lost in the he said this and the she said that and this happened and that happened, where what we have come to learn is that's just surface level stuff. That's not the real deep root issue. And we at Back to the Fifth Academy like to address the root issue for healing and not just putting band-aids on the situation. So the listening beyond words is really about, I don't have anything on my mind except being present and connected to myself, Allah, and this person here. So I'm listening for what's the real need that needs to be addressed. What's the real pain point? Where is it really coming from? And when you do that, that stands out. When you're able to listen beyond just the words they're saying, you can connect the dots and point them in the direction of where the hurt or the source of the pain is actually coming from.
And quite often what we see beyond the words is not something that they can actually see, because they're so lost in the story that they have at the forefront. And
Yeah, because it looks so real. It looks so real, like they're actually trapped in the whirlwind of the story, or the thought storm, as we say, around them, that they can't see what the real issue is. So, by listening beyond the words, we can help them see what the real issue is.
Which comes to the next part of what we do, which is then we counter those stories. I mean, I think the way I like to see it is, can you imagine, one of those antique silver teapots, right? And over the years, it's got gray and tarnished. It's not shining anymore. And we know that the shine is still under there. It's just a matter of uncovering it. And so it's about polishing it. And so when we listen beyond the words and we see what the story is, the next stage of that is to counter the story, which is kind of like the polishing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how would you describe countering the stories, and what profound effect that has on clients when you do that with them?
Um, being being connected to your own wisdom and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is guiding you in that moment with that particular individual, on how to respond, what questions to ask, what to say to help, because your intention really is to connect them back to their own fitrah and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So countering the stories in a compassionate yet clear way, you're just countering the narrative that they have going on, meaning the narrative or the belief that they've held on to for so long about themselves and about what's possible for them and what's not possible for them. So it's really just redirecting them. Well, how do you, because everything we think, the narrative we have going on, we think it's true, and then we get stuck in that. So just helping them see, well, who says that's true? How do you know that's true? And just kind of just like shaking things up a little bit, so they don't stay stuck in that belief system or that narrative. To be like, one of my clients described it as, all you did was this. You kind of just shifted where to look. That's how she explained it to me. Like, you're looking in this direction, which we say looking outside of ourselves, right? She's like, you just did this to me, and now I have a whole new world. I'm looking at from a different lens of, now I know where to look. So
Yeah.
I think that's how I would describe it.
And that was so beautiful, and it kind of led me to how we see it is, when we're looking at what's going on through our story, we're not seeing the true reality of what's going on. We're not seeing it through the perspective of how Allah fits into the picture. And the minute we shift to how Allah fits into the picture and realize that that story that we created wasn't true, and it really is that simple, subhanallah, you come back into that clarity, that calm, and that space where the individual themselves are then guided. And so it really brings such deep meaning to in the remembrance of Allah, the heart's find rest. It's like when you remember that I'm meant to be framing my life through the lens of Islam, through the lens of Islam, let's put it that way, then my heart will be at rest, and then I'll know what to do. And so I'd love you to share what you've noticed with clients once they get to that, what we call fitra state, or back into their wisdom, as we often refer to it as well. What happens then?
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to point out was that when they get, one of the things, like when people share their whole story with me, and then how I mentioned earlier, like we just want to shake them up a little bit just to kind of get out of that reality. There's one question that I use a lot, that I say a lot, that helps people do that, which is, where's Allah in the picture? And then it's like, oh, because usually it's like, oh, I've done all this, I did all this, and then this is what I got, and I'm so angry, I'm so upset, I gave everything, and they get stuck in that. And then as soon as you ask them that, well, where's like very compassionately, where's Allah in the picture? It totally baffles them, and it brings them back to the truth, right? To look for Allah. So, and when we start pointing them in the right direction to look within themselves, to look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they get that sense of clarity, and then this lightness happens for them. Like they feel lighter, and they just have an internal shift that gives them hope again, that helps them know that, wait a minute, they're not alone, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with them. It's like they come back into the truth of remembering these truths that we all intellectually know, but in the moment we've lost sight of them. We've forgotten them, and I'd like to say lost sight, because we're looking from here, and here we're not looking from our spiritual sight, which is what we help people direct them and connect them back to, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that it's not the eyes that are blind, it's the hearts that are blind, right? That have a cover over them, that have a veil over them. So that's what we help people to connect back to their own self and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the mind quiets down, and they can connect to the heart, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can remove the veils for them, in the way that he deems appropriate. And it brings such clarity, such lightness, such ease in difficult situations. Kind of like what we're seeing right now in Palestine, how they can be so connected to themselves and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have that conviction. They know that everything that they're experiencing doesn't define them, that it's just a test, and their main focus and goal is passing it in a way that's pleasing to Allah. And we can all do that in our challenges, in our tests, in our day-to-day life.
Exactly. You don't need to wait to be in the traumatic situation they're in to find that heightened level of connection with Allah, and notice how Allah's guiding you in every single matter of your life. You don't need to wait for Hajj. You don't need to wait for Ramadan. In fact, it can be with you right here, right now. And that's really what the essence of Fitrah-Focused coaching is. Jazakallah khair for sharing that, Rayesa. I think it's helped people understand what is quite different about what we do, and how this isn't just your standard average coaching certification. I'd love for you to share what it has meant to you to have been able to come on this journey and become a mentor and coach in this work, because you quit your profession to do this work.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. SubhanAllah, that's been a journey in itself. And I could never been able to follow my soul, what my soul is telling me, the truth of that, if I didn't have this understanding, and I didn't go through this journey for as long as I have been with Back to the Fitrah Academy, because it always starts with you first, right? Where you're at, how connected you are to yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how much do you understand yourself, how much do you accept yourself, how much are you in your own wisdom, right? Because we can't give or we can't support people with what we don't have ourselves. So it's very much about our own journey. And it's just tremendously helped me because it's allowed me to make decisions and choices where the rest of the world is like, are you crazy? That's not going to work. What about, you're going to experience this scarcity, this lack, how are you going to support yourself and this and that? And those things can really hold us back and keep us in a fear mongering mindset, and then we just never go anywhere, and then we're chasing the dunya rather than chasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what he's guiding us to. So it's helped me so tremendously too, because I've realized also the things that I see and I understand, such as relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I like to describe this as relying on the source versus the means, right? Relying on our job versus relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the source. And I've really been, the more that I talk about this and I share this, I've been tested in these ways. So it's helped me to know how to navigate the test with hope, with taqwa, with tawakkul, which are all the ingredients that we need according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran to successfully, pass our tests. And doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but it's helped me to see the things that I'm helping other people in my own life where I need to step up or where I need, more insight. And it's also helped me from my experiences to stand with the people that I'm supporting. That, this is a lot of times what I'm saying is, oh, you're just human. That means you're human. Like, because a lot of times people think that something's wrong with them or there's a problem, they need to be fixed. And back to the Fitrah Academy, we teach that no, you're perfectly born on perfectly imperfect, created. Can't get my words out. You're created perfectly imperfect on the Fitrah, perfectly whole. The way Allah created you. So there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. And a lot of times the narrative people have about themselves is just part of being human, and it's not a problem. So I think that in itself has been really helpful for me and helpful for the people that I'm supporting to know that they're okay and they're just fine as the way they are, that there's nothing wrong with them.
Mm. So do you have time to share maybe, obviously quite anonymously, a bit of a case study of a success you've had using this form of coaching?
Yeah, there's so many successes. And what I'll say about success, it's not about the outcome. Success is not defined through an outcome. So, for example, I'm the Muslim divorce coach. So I help women who are struggling to figure out if that's the right thing for them or not. And it's not about, oh no, this person decided not to get divorced, so they saved their marriage, which is a great thing, right? Their marriage was meant to go in that way. So it's not about whether they get divorced or not. Okay, it's about, are they hearing Allah? Are they navigating this test, which is it is a test, a struggle in your relationship, in your marriage. They're navigating it in a way that they're listening to Allah. So I've had those people who have decided that they were just looking at everything a different perspective, where now they have a newfound relationship, a newfound marriage. But I also have clients where they still don't know. They still don't know. So, and in the not knowing, they're okay. In the not knowing, they're happy. In the not knowing, they're content and they're at peace. And they're going moment by moment, day by day with, okay, how's Allah guiding me now? And then one moment, and they can recognize and be at peace when, okay, I have clarity. I know that divorce was the right thing. Oh no, like all the clarity is gone now. my thinking is all over the place and I'm not in clarity. So I need to pause now. They know what to do, so they're not afraid. They know how to respond and handle it in a way that's pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just today, there was, a sister who she decided that divorce is the right thing for her, but she was open to mediation because that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribes in the Quran. So she went according to, even though she was clear on this is the right way to go, she still was open, let me go in the direction that Allah tells us to in the Quran. And she found her husband was surprisingly flexible and open minded, which he never was before. So it opens up so many doors for you that you can't imagine, because you're trusting Allah with the tawakkul, you're conscious, and you're responding in a way that you're conscious with to Allah with taqwa. So we just don't know what life's going to bring. So success, I have many success stories, but it's not about the outcome of what we think. And this client told me also that she's surrendered and let go of the outcome of what she thinks needs to happen. And so she's going with the flow of what Allah is facilitating and opening for her moment by moment, in a very connected way, compassionate way for herself, and even for her partner, who she's been married to for a long time and has children with, because she can see him as a human being and not somebody that she's angry or upset with. So many success stories, that I can share with you, but just a little bit about what's been happening.
It's been amazing over the years seeing so relationships that really the person you're speaking to believes there's no way that this relationship can continue. Like they're at that point to end up in loving relationships. And then also ones where it has gone down the path of divorce, but they're actually co-parenting with that person in a very flexible and meaningful way, and it's done in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed for us, which is in a manner of compassion towards and kindness towards one another, which obviously helps the kids a lot in these situations to see their parents not at each other. And so the outcomes end up being perhaps better than the ones that we perceive we're looking for at the beginning of the journey. And I
Always.
and I think that the difference with this form of coaching compared to perhaps some other forms is the other forms start at the beginning, what do you want to achieve with that coaching? And then they work with you to get that goal. What we're seeing is that maybe that isn't actually the perfect outcome for you. What we're doing is helping you go back to the space where you can see how Allah is guiding you in the matter, so that you can actually make a wise choice that is right for everybody, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to guide you to something that's only good for you. He's going to guide to something that's good for everybody. And sometimes in some relationships, it is actually better not to be together, even for the children, because being together is too much friction, and the kids don't cope very well in that. And sometimes the wisdom is that we can rise above that and rekindle the relationship. So it's not about having a specific outcome. It's about coming back to the fitra. That's why it's fitra-focused coaching, and knowing what is the best way forward, inshallah. So,
Yeah.
Raisa, I'm really, really grateful for your time and sharing. One quick last question. Who do you
Sure.
think
My
is
pleasure.
the right person for this program?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Perhaps you're already coaching people, you're already supporting people, mentoring them, counseling them, and you're looking for something that ties in psychology and spirituality together as one and the same. You're looking for not just a secular approach, but you're looking for an Islamic approach that is in line with our psychology and our spirituality. And you're looking to be a means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses to guide people, not from your guidance, but from his guidance. And you're looking for also perhaps maybe, you're already doing this work and it's really stressful. And it's taking a toll on you, because I hear that a lot from therapists who say, well, like, how do you help yourself? Doesn't it weigh heavy on you? Like, how do you handle all listening to people's issues and struggles? And see, with this understanding through this certification, we don't take on people's load. We hold a space for them to release or to share. But we know through this certification, you learn how to, through separate realities, how to hold space for them without taking on what they're saying and making it about you. It's not about you at all. And so if you want to learn how to, like, you have a gift for this, you have a talent, you have a calling for this, and you want to help people in a way that is most befitting of bringing them back to their own fitrah. You want to learn about your own fitrah and come back to your own fitrah without the stress of the job of that therapists and counselors jobs bring in the mainstream perspective. This is the program for you, and you will not regret it, because you will grow so tremendously in your spiritual and emotional well-being by connecting back to your own fitrah, that it will become apparent to see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to show up and fulfill your purpose as an act of worship.
And it's not just for sisters, it's for brothers as well. In fact, we highly encourage brothers to join, because we've only got the 2 brothers so far that have come through the
And we
program.
need you.
And we need the brothers to support the
Please.
brothers, right? It's very, very important that we're able to support the ummah, not just the sisters.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Well, Jazakallah khair, Rayesa, and Jazakallah khair for those that have been watching the recording of this. Make sure, if you're interested to learn more, that you type certification in the comments below, so that we can give you the link so you can find out more and connect with us and potentially become a Fitrah-focused coach yourself, inshallah. So Jazakallah khair, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu